Well, hello. As you can see, I'm wearing a 3/4 length jacket that I just bought from an online retailer. The reason I bought this jacket, a little background, is that this year, this winter, has been probably one of the worst winters I've seen. We're now March of 2014. It's probably been one of the worst winters I've seen since I was a child. And it's still cold outside, whereas normally this time of year we would see grass and rain. We're still seeing snow and snowbanks and ice, unfortunately. And I'm really chomping at the bit to drive my motorcycle, and I expect this early summer and late spring are going to be colder than what I'm used to. So in anticipation of that, and with a budget-conscious mind, I went out and bought this jacket, and I'm very pleased. It just arrived, so I haven't had a road test of it yet, but I'm just going to do a very quick video on what I'm wearing and a little bit about sizing and all that sort of thing. I've already done a video before on motorcycle wear, and I don't want to repeat a lot of those comments, but I'll talk a little bit about this jacket and the fit of this jacket. This is a REV'IT energy jacket, and it's actually a closed out jacket, because normally I would buy my jackets from, if they're available, from a local retailer. Unfortunately, since this is last year's or perhaps even the year before jacket from that model year, it was closed out from an online retailer, and I got a fantastic deal on it. Although the jacket itself is not terribly expensive to begin with, unlike other REV'IT brand jackets. REV'IT is sort of positions themselves in the marketplace as a sort of upper mid-level motorcycle gear manufacturer, and the Rukas of the world and some of the high-end Alpenstar and even some of the high-end REV'IT stuff, you know, you get up to $1,000 or $1,500 for a textile jacket. That's kind of the high-end stuff. REV'IT typically positions their products from the $350 to $650 range, okay, from a jacket, from a textile standpoint. This here jacket actually normally retailed in the United States for about $260, I believe. I bought it online, I think, for about $149, and I'm very happy with it. I wanted considering this cold winter, I wanted something that was warm and waterproof. Warm over venting, actually. It's more important to me early in the season to be well insulated as opposed to be well ventilated. I have a first gear Teton jacket, which I'm very pleased with, which has reasonably good, actually very good venting, considering it's a Four Seasons jacket. It has better venting than this. But it also, because it's a shorter jacket and the insulation is a little thinner, and there is more venting and more places for the air to leak, it's typically a cooler jacket earlier in the season. So I'm hoping this here jacket will fill the void. In addition to buying this jacket, I also bought an electric vest, also from First Gear, or sorry, an electric jacket from First Gear, an electric liner that will plug into my motorcycle, which I'll do a review on later. This particular jacket, and if you've owned REV'IT and if you own REV'IT now or have owned REV'IT in the past, you're probably wondering why this jacket, a 3/4 length jacket that is sort of water resistant and insulated and vented and high vis, it's the approved high vis too, which is supposed to prevent itself or sort of resist fading, I think, over time. You think you pay more for something like that, and you actually pay less. Well, most REV'IT jackets are made in Asia, China actually. So there's no difference there. The zippers, snaps, the Velcro enclosures, the adjustable collar, that's all the same as most other REV'IT jackets. There are fewer adjusters on the arm. There's only one volume adjuster on either arm and one adjuster across the waist. That would save some money, and more importantly, there's only really two pockets. There's two pockets here and an inside pocket on the chest here, and it's not a vertical pocket, which I prefer. But I'm okay with that for the price. There is no fanny pack pocket. Okay, so that's another savings. So if you compare this side by side with, say, the Sand 2 jacket, also produced by REV'IT, which is significantly more expensive, you can see a lot of the quality being there the same. The armor is the same in this jacket. It's we have elbow pads, shoulder pads, and a back pad. Although the back pad's a little thin, I'd probably replace that if I was going to drive longer into the year with it. But generally speaking, the savings comes from what I can see anyway, pockets, venting, and probably the quality of, or the resistance, water resistance that this is rated for compared to perhaps the Gore-Tex line, which is even more expensive again, the Defender line. But overall, if you know what you're getting, this is a great deal. And the fit about REV'IT. REV'IT is a company that is headquartered out of the Netherlands. So typically with these European companies, they tend to, rightfully so, design their products around a European fit. And a European fit, and there's only, perhaps this year or last year, I've noticed there's reference to European fit versus American fit versus a box fit, okay? So I'll talk a little bit about those three. Some people say American fit and a box fit are the same. They're not. Or at the very least, from my perspective, I've tried on jackets from different manufacturers that typically have 3 distinct fits, okay? So depending on your body type, you should decide on what fit you're looking for. And I'll start first of all with the European fit, which is typically, okay, historically been a REV'IT's strong point, I guess, if you were a European style body. European fit is designed around someone with a svelte body, svelte arms, svelte chest, and svelte waist, okay? So thin and athletic, but not too terribly muscular or bulky anywhere, okay? And that's just the fit. So if you typically try on perhaps a REV'IT from, say, 6 or 7 years ago, you'd find the arms are very tight, even when you have them adjusted out to their fullest, or I found they were. And I found it very tight to the chest and a little bit tight to the stomach, okay? For a given size, even though the size might be large or extra large or 43 or 53, depending on the sizing conventions used. I found overall, especially in the armpits, that's where I noticed it the most, a tightness. The American fit, and what REV'IT has really gone to in the last few years, is for the American and North American market is probably a more accurate way to put it. They've gone to the American fit, and the American fit typically allows more room in the shoulders and arms, okay? And a little bit more room in the waist, but not a whole lot. It's more, they're trying to get more upper top end room for the riders, okay? And that's how this jacket fits. So if you take a good look at it from the side, it is still a, I would say, more of an athletic fit. It's not a boxy fit, which I'll talk about in a minute. In other words, there's not a whole lot of room here. Now I have mine adjusted, but there's a lot more adjustment left to pull that in. It's adjusted to fit me right. There's not a lot of room here in the waist, which I don't like. And even laterally here, it does pull in, comes in from the shoulders, tapers in just a touch. And it's very nice. There's not a lot of room in the bottom, although I do have it adjusted for me. It's just right. A lot of room to move, but even when adjusted to fit me, it doesn't restrict its range of motion, okay? So I can move that around. Now a box fit is a fit where typically it's designed more for somebody with either, I'll come right out and say it, maybe a bigger stomach. So typically you have a lot of size in the shoulder, but you also have a lot of size to the core of the jacket, okay? Now some people who may not have a box type body, in other words they don't have a big stomach, prefer a box fit because it allows more room on the motorcycle. I don't like it because I find if there's space between my body and the jacket, or excessive space, then the jacket will tend to flutter and balloon around on the motorcycle, even with the windshield up. Okay? So for me, and I'd also recommend considering that, if you just be wary, if you like that big roomy fit, and you haven't tried one before, just be wary that you might get a little ballooning, a little puffing, a little fluttering in the jacket when you're driving, and if there is excessive space, I mean a lot, you'll get drafts of air coming up around the bottom of the jacket into your torso. Okay? Because typically when a motorcycle goes down the road, there's a lot of negative pressure. Even if you don't have a fairing, a lot of negative pressure around the sides of the bike, cause swirling. Little swirls down by your legs, behind you, a lot behind you actually, cause negative pressure, and the negative pressure tends to suck air right up the back of your jacket. So it's always nice to have, from my perspective, I found I prefer a jacket that fits me tighter through the torso. Now I'm very happy with this jacket. I'm going to test it out on the road and tell you what I think of it. It comes with, as I mentioned, a liner, and that liner is removable. It zips out. It's a full sleeve liner. When you take that liner out, the jacket still fits snugly. Okay, still fits. I call it not snug in a bad way, but tailored. Okay, in fact, it's adjusted to my body. Still fits nice and doesn't balloon much. It doesn't. There's not a lot of space even after with the liner out. So I'm very happy about that. And there's enough room that I could zip out that liner that came with it and actually use my electric liner that I bought from the other manufacturer and use these two components together to really be able to hit some cold weather and not be uncomfortable. For me, I found that when I get cold on a motorcycle, cold air tends to either come up my back or come into the jacket and cool the back of my neck. And it causes my shoulders to roll up and try to protect that, or to try to warm that part of the back of my neck. And I tend to get an ache or a pain in the back of my head that runs down to the middle of my back. So I'm going to try to avoid that this year on those really cold days. Most days, warm days, medium, cool days, I'm okay. But the really, really cold days, I find I tend to scrunch up a little bit on the motorcycle, even with the fairing. And I tend to become this uncomfortable. And that makes the ride not so much fun. Anyway, I'm very pleased with this, and I'll do a comparison. I don't know if I'll do another video on the electric liner in it, but I'm going to try it. If I find it just does not perform, I doubt that's going to happen, but if I find it does not perform, I'll post a follow-up video. Anyway, until next time.